What do you think makes a good ball player?
I don't know.
You don't know?
If there's one word that can best sum up Tom Brady's career, it would be champion. And all he needed to kickstart what most consider the greatest career in NFL history was an opportunity. After being selected with the 199th pick in the 2000 NFL Draft, Patriots owner Robert Kraft recalled Brady telling him, "Hi, I'm Tom Brady, and I'm the best decision this organization has ever made." Truer words have never been spoken. Early in his second year with New England, a serious rib injury sidelined then starting quarterback Drew Bledsoe. Brady would be more than up for the challenge. He went on to lead the Patriots to their first Super Bowl championship in franchise history as a 2-touchdown underdog against the Rams. After leading the Pats to back-to-back Super Bowls in 2003 and 2004, Brady continued to elevate his game into superstar status, but also suffered crushing losses to the Giants in Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46. Still to this day, Brady considers that 2007 team, who went 16-0 in the regular season, the best team he's ever played on. It was a decade-long wait in between Super Bowl wins, but Brady finally won his 4th title in the 2014 season and followed that 2 years later with the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history against the Falcons. He would then win his 6th ring with the Patriots in the 2018 campaign. But after a first-round exit the next year, and having spent 2 glorious decades with the only organization he's ever known, the most successful player-coach combo in league history was no more.
Appreciate that. You're awesome. I appreciate everything. Thanks. Yeah, you too.
For years, it was debated who was more responsible for their Patriot success, Brady or Belichick. Brady would settle that debate in year 1 with his new team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Touchdown Tom would lead the Bucs to a Super Bowl title in his first year with Tampa Bay, winning a record-setting 7th ring and 5th Super Bowl MVP.
My favorite ring is the next one.
With TB12 now hanging it up, he leaves behind a legacy that is unmatched. The future first-ballot Hall of Famer set a standard of success that is going to be nearly impossible for anyone else to eclipse. And whether you rooted for him or against him, he made you care and helped take the league to new heights. One heck of a career for the 199th pick in the 2000 NFL Draft. Tom Brady calling it a career, announcing it on Instagram. And to break it down, we've got Jonathan Jones, our senior NFL reporter, here with the breaking news on CBS Sports HQ. JJ, the reports, the rumblings have been out there, but it is official. Tom Brady taken to social media. Your thoughts?
And, you know, it's interesting how he phrased it in his social media post. When you look at what Tom Brady said, it's not that his skills have diminished so that he knows it's time to walk away. He talks about the commitment needed to be and play at the successful level that he is so accustomed, and that he cannot give that sort of commitment to the game anymore, and that is why he's walking away. When you look at how he talks so lovingly about his family, his wife and children, how he talks about his other business ventures, things that we have seen him take part in the last couple of years now, that he can't devote himself to the game of football the way that he had, and so because of that, he knows that his success level would very likely slip, and so because of that, he's walking away from the game of football, the greatest quarterback that this game has ever seen, bar none, without question. There is no debate. Tom Brady is absolutely the GOAT quarterback.
Yeah, he thanked a lot of people in an Instagram post that spanned 7 or 8 slides that you had to go through. And to your point, he said part of it, I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I've loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention. Again, that's part of his social media post. JJ, can you remember when, this is maybe a little bit different than Ben Roethlisberger, where we saw it coming for about a month or two, about Tom Brady and his thoughts ultimately landing at retirement, but when did you think that was coming about? Did you hear anything at the time before?
Well, once we sort of got into the playoffs, the rumblings really started to happen. Could this be it? And in talking with folks down in Tampa, you know, everyone in Tampa knew obviously Tom Brady was closer to the end than the beginning, and so could be this year. You never know with Tom, the greatest competitor there is. Maybe it was going to be another year. It was always going to be a wait and see with Tom Brady. But it sort of became clear after that loss to the Rams and the comeback that was involved in that game, and then you start sort of forecasting out into the 2022 season and the free agents that are coming up for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You have Leonard Fournette, Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, Rob Gronkowski, who's probably going to retire now. You have Chris Godwin. The list really continues, and the Bucs did very, very well to keep all 22 starters from their Super Bowl winning team last year. That obviously had never been done in the free agency era, had only been done once before in the previous 50 years. But it was done because of Tom Brady. It was done because these guys understood that, okay, we can come back, we can take a little bit less, maybe we have a little less security in terms of years on our contract, but we can go chase that Super Bowl ring, and we can do it because we just did it with Tom Brady in a once-in-a-century global pandemic season. When in his first year with the team, we were able to be the first team ever to host a Super Bowl and win it in our home stadium. And so, of course, those guys decided to put the band back together. It was going to be more difficult to do that after another year and after that failure. And so, Tommy, the question has been, is this the way Tom Brady wants to go out, having not won a Super Bowl, even though he participated in about half the Super Bowls that took place during his illustrious career? Listen, he gets it. You can't always write your own ending. It's very difficult to do that. And so here he is, still going out on top. Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP. Tom Brady is going to be the runner-up. It's not like he can't play football anymore. At 44 years old, he very well was very, very close to winning the Most Valuable Player of the Year award, but he goes out because he knows that he cannot make that commitment to football anymore.
I just got done scrolling that retirement post again. He thanked a lot of the Bucs, the Glazer family, his agent Don Yee, Alex Guerrero's trainer. No mention of the New England Patriots. No Bill Belichick in there, JJ. What do you think?
Okay, Tommy, I know, I get it. People are saying, hey, there's no Patriots in here. Listen, I don't think that was some subtle shot. I know folks in New England may very well not be happy with that, and they may have ground to stand on. I can tell you this. There was that meeting after the early season game between Tom Brady and the New England Patriots when Bill Belichick went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers locker room and they spoke for upwards of a half hour. That was a very good conversation. Obviously, we probably won't know what was actually said in that conversation until one of these two men writes a book. But if you go back to when Tom Brady was announcing that he was going to become a free agent, that he was not going to return to the New England Patriots, and before, of course, he made his final decision to join the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he posted a very long, in fact, it was a thread of posts on Twitter thanking Coach Belichick, he called him, to Robert Kraft, to his family, to Patriots Nation everywhere. It was a nice, beautiful letter where he took care of all that Patriots stuff, and now he's been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2 years, and he obviously hasn't been able to thank the Buccaneers, and he wasn't able to thank his agent and all those folks that he talked about in that post that just came out on Instagram. So Patriots fans, just settle down, go back in your archives, go back to March of 2021, and you will be able to see, of 2020, and you will be able to see and reread all of his beautiful words to you, and you can be comforted and warmed by them.
All right, I'll give you a fair play on that one. I'll give you another year, 2027, of course, the Hall of Fame class there that Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger will be eligible for. So when we get to that point eventually, JJ, what is going to define Tom Brady? How are you going to describe to those his career when that time comes?
I mean, it's winner, right? That's what this sport is all about. That's what sports are all about. It's teamship, it's camaraderie, it's all the things that we, tell youths when they're playing sports. Ultimately, it comes down to winning. Did you win? How much did you win? Did you win more than your competition, than your rivals? How did you win? And the fact is that he won 3 in 4 years, and that was a Hall of Fame career. And in the time between Super Bowls wins 3 and 4, he had another Hall of Fame career. And then he went out there and won 3 more with that organization, being the greatest dynasty in the salary cap era of the NFL, something that we all thought was impossible. And then he left that team and then joined another team with which he had very little familiarity during, again, a pandemic when he couldn't gain that familiarity, and then went on to win a Super Bowl with them in his first season there. So, yeah, it's all about winning. It's always been about winning for Tom Brady. And so if you define him and his legacy, I don't think there's any question. It's that. Tommy, there's going to always be questions about, is he the greatest athlete of all time because of the winning? Is he the greatest football player of all time because of the 7 Super Bowl rings? Listen, Jim Brown and Jerry Rice are going to have something to say about that, right? Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan are going to have something to say about greatest athlete of all time, and plenty of others as well, no question about it. But when you talk about who is the greatest quarterback of all time, it's Tom Brady, and then there's a very clear gap to whoever you want to put at number 2.
Before I let you go, one more quick thing. Jason Light, what does the team do, the Bucs do now with Tom Brady no longer there?
Yeah, so listen, there's a whole lot of talk about how much money Tom Brady is owed and $15 million. That kind of came out last week. Don't worry about any of that. The Buccaneers have known about this. They were always going to pay him his deferred bonus of $15 million. He's going to have to pay back $16 million because he retired. Don't get caught up in the weeds on that. Don't listen to anybody talking about that. What do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do? Well, we're going to see with free agency. They're going to have to gauge the agents of these free agents. How many of you guys are going to want to stay here? And if they get a return from these representatives of these players and say, listen, they're going to look out for greener pastures. They're going to try to get more money elsewhere. I think that's when you probably try to hit the reset button there in Tampa. And that's okay because you got the second Lombardi in franchise history. But if you can get some of these guys to stick around, the Ryan Jensens, right, and that should be their number one priority, keeping that offensive line intact, look for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go after a veteran quarterback who is either a free agent or ostensibly a free agent, a de facto free agent, someone who wants to get out of their situation. Can the Bucs afford an Aaron Rodgers or someone of his ilk? No, probably not. But there's going to be plenty of movement in this quarterback carousel. And if the Bucs decide that they can keep the band together enough and go after one of those players and win, an attempt to win a very winnable NFC South, I can see that being a very possible avenue for them.
They brought everybody back to try to run it back, and it's still Brady and the Patriots, the last to go, consecutive Super Bowl titles way back in the day with his first stint with the Patriots. Jonathan Jones, appreciate you here with the breaking news again. Jenny, you and I mentioned it when we were together, the morning show. You have all these stats, but the Super Bowl wins is certainly the one that is above the rest, at least in my opinion. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Scott Pioli's in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl. He's going to join us, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Patriots, with Tom Brady, 5-time Executive of the Year coming up in 60 seconds.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.